Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to decode a 900-year-old masterpiece, one that basically threw out the rulebook for Byzantine art. It's hidden away in this Greek monastery, and trust me, it tells a story that's just as shocking now as it was way back in the 12th century. Okay, so you look at this fresco of the crucifixion, and at first glance you might think, okay, I've seen stuff like this before. But, art historians, they've been captivated by this thing for decades. Why? Because they see these little details that just completely flip the script on the traditional, serene way this event was supposed to be shown. So the big question is, what exactly did this anonymous artist do that was so radical? That's how the experts put it, and they're not kidding. This isn't just a pretty picture. It's a super complex eschatological argument, and it's absolutely packed with raw emotion and some seriously daring artistic choices. All right, let's dive in together and start uncovering the clues that make this fresco such a masterpiece. So, the artist left us a trail of clues, almost like they were challenging us to see this familiar scene in a totally new way. We're going to start with the first one. The raw, unfiltered emotion right at the heart of the painting. Right. The first, and maybe the most powerful break from tradition, is the emotion. Usually, Byzantine art is all about divine stillness and serenity, but this artist, they confront us with this almost unbearable display of raw, human suffering. The art historian Manolis Chatsidakis just nails it here. Unexpected brutality. This is so far from the calm, symbolic death you see in most Byzantine art. This is visceral, it's raw, and it's shockingly human. The artist uses a style that today we'd probably call expressionism, distorting things to express intense emotion, to get at a much deeper emotional truth. I mean, just look at how Christ's body is shown. It's huge, way bigger than life, which really emphasizes its importance. But it's also broken, twisted, sagging under the pure physical weight of death. This intense focus on the muscles and bones, it's all designed to make you, the viewer, actually feel the agony, not just look at it from a distance. And as radical as that depiction of Christ was, what the artist did with his mother was maybe even more audacious. This is where the fresco introduces a kind of human drama that was pretty much unheard of in big public paintings of that time. Okay, get this. This fresco is believed to be the very first known monumental painting. We're talking a large-scale public work of art to ever show the Virgin Mary fainting at the crucifixion. You might find something like this in a small, private manuscript before this period, but to put it right on a church wall for literally everyone to see, that was revolutionary. No other way to put it. So Theotokos is the Greek title for Mary, and it means God-bearer. But here, by showing her completely collapsing, the artist is making a really radical statement. She isn't just some divine symbol in this moment. She's a human mother, totally overwhelmed by grief. And believe me, the artist is not done surprising us yet. All right, on to our second clue, and this one is maybe the strangest thing in the whole painting. If you look down at the foot of the cross, you'll find two of the most bizarre figures in all of Byzantine art. Seriously, it looks like they just wandered in from a completely different story. I mean, just look at them. They're almost comical. Right in the middle of this incredibly profound, divine drama, you have these two, art historians have called them dwarf-like creatures, or little men. You have to ask, what on earth is going on here? And this jarring contrast, it's completely intentional. It's exactly what the artist was going for. You've got the holy figures who are all spiritual, tragic, and dignified. And then you have these intruders who are the total opposite. Earthly, impudent, and just completely graceless. So these two figures are the soldier who pierced Christ's side and the servant who offered him vinegar on a sponge. But look how the artist draws them. They have these almost surreal, cartoonish features. Their proportions are all wrong, their faces are distorted, and one of them is even casually twisting his mustache like he's totally indifferent to this world-shattering event happening literally right in front of him. And that brings us to our third and final clue. You have to understand, nothing in this painting is an accident. Every single detail, from the fainting Virgin Mary to these grotesque soldiers, is part of a complex coded theological argument that's being made right there on the church wall. So on one side of the cross, you see this female figure. She represents the church. She's young, she's elegant, and she's actively collecting the blood and water that are flowing from Christ's wound. This is a direct visual of the doctrine that the church itself was born from Christ's sacrifice. Then you look at the opposite side. There's another female figure, but this one is old. She's turning away, and she's being physically shoved out of the scene by an angel. She represents the synagogue, or the Old Covenant. The artist is arguing that it's being superseded by the new covenant of the church. It's a very forceful, very unambiguous statement. And right down at the very bottom, at the foot of the cross, there's a skull. Now, this isn't just a grim detail to be spooky. That's supposed to be Adam's skull. Tradition says that the cross was placed on the very spot where Adam, the first man, was buried. So as Christ's blood drips down and washes over that skull, it's a powerful symbol for the redemption of all of humanity from original sin. Okay, so we've seen the raw emotion, we've seen the grotesque intruders, and we've seen the hidden symbols. So, what's the final answer to our mystery? What pulls all these totally radical elements together and makes this fresco a work of absolute genius? The solution, it all lies in the masterful use of contrast. See, the artist understood something incredibly profound, that to really show divinity, you first have to show the depths of humanity. To really appreciate beauty, you have to put it right next to ugliness. So those cartoonish soldiers, they aren't just some weird distraction. They're essential. Their crude, earthly nature is what makes the profound grief of Mary, the sorrow of John, and the divine sacrifice of Christ shine that much brighter. The ugliness actually serves the beauty. The irreverence highlights what is sacred. And that really leaves us with this final, kind of provocative thought, doesn't it? This 900-year-old masterpiece, it seems to be asking a very modern question. It suggests that maybe true spiritual power isn't found by turning away from the world's harshness and ugliness, but by confronting it and by seeing the sacred shine right through it all, exalted and made even more powerful by the contrast.